Happy Friday, traders and investors. It's Rod with POW Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth for a daily market recap. Today's a recap for Friday, June 25th. And in today's video is the main topic of the day. We're going to be discussing Bombardier Inc., so ticker symbol BBD.B. And we're going to be talking about whether or not it's looking toppy. In my opinion, not at the moment, but we are getting extended. And it's looking like we could see, after a strong weekly candle close, that we could see more upside with a lack of resistance. But we'll go over the potential for upside into next week and then the pullback scenario as well to get prepared for the week ahead. I know a lot of people in our group are very bullish and very heavily invested in this name. So before we jump in, we'll run through the news and events on the day today like we normally do, and I'll put some timestamps in the description below for your convenience. But before we jump in, make sure to smash the like and subscribe to the channel. So we'll look at the news and events, we'll look at the broader market, and then we'll do a detailed analysis of the BBD.B chart. So the S&P 500 climbs to another record led by bank shares, notched its best week since February. So we had a record daily and weekly candle close on the S&P 500, which we'll look at here in just a moment. Also, we had some key inflation data that came in today, and it posts biggest year-over-year gain in nearly 3 decades. So the core personal consumption expenditures price index increase was what they were talking about here today. You can see here it came in 3.4% versus 3.1% in the prior period, but they're talking about in 3 decades. So they continue to reiterate that the inflation concerns, it's adding to those concerns, but the Fed officials continue to insist that they see current situation as temporary and likely to abate by conditions return to normal and things are reopening, etc. So moving on, stocks making biggest moves midday. So Nike, Virgin, BlackBerry. So Virgin had some news that soared 38% after it announced Federal Aviation Administration has given it the green light to fly paying customers into space. It's first such license approved by the FAA. The company has about 600 ticket reservations for future flights that sold between 200,000 and 250,000 US each. And Nike soared on better than expected earnings, and BlackBerry dropped on not so great earnings. Elon Musk and Jack Dorsey also agreed today to talk about Bitcoin at an event in July. So a little bonding action going on there between the two. That one's going to be extremely interesting. Can't wait to see that one. Hopefully they get it on video. I'm sure they will. Elon Musk teases Bitcoin maximalists once again. So basically he said, how many BC maximalists does it take to screw in a light bulb? And just sent the prices dropping, but who knows, maybe it was something else unrelated to that. A lot of speculation saying that he dropped the crypto market again. But in my opinion, he wasn't insulting Bitcoin. He was just insulting the maximalists who don't have any logic or reasoning. They wanted everything to be Bitcoin because that's the most that they hold, and it was the first one, and they're sort of brainwashed. When we all know that it's not the best technology. The Netscape wasn't the end-all be-all, and it provided innovation and room for the Googles of the world and the Apples of the world to come along and really dominate the space. So in my opinion, it's still too early to tell who the real winners are long term. Also, in other news, the SEC seeks to stop Ripple from calling ex-SEC director for XRP testimony. So William Hinman, this is, if you haven't, I'm not going to go into this whole story, but essentially he worked for the SEC as a director and basically called Ethereum a non-security. And then he went to go back to his previous job where they have a lot of conflicts of interest and vested interest in monetary gain in Ethereum. So a lot of sketchy things going on here. And if the SEC really believed that there was nothing to hide, why would they try to stop this from happening? So it just doesn't look good no matter how you slice it. And the SEC just continues to dig itself a deeper hole day in, day out. Looking at the crypto space, so we were selling off a bit there, like I said, after the Elon Musk fiasco, but we are bouncing back here, trying to set 15-minute uptrends on most names. Looks like we are in 15-minute uptrends here on most of our names. So looking for a 15-minute higher low at the moment, and we have a bit of an equilibrium there on Bitcoin. But we did start daily consolidation today. So I mentioned in the video yesterday to be cautious. We were approaching daily EMA 12, and we were just expecting a lower high compared to 41,322. But at the moment, bulls are looking to save the low here at 28,800. So that is the key support. We're going to look to form a higher low and then a higher high. So if we pull back here, form a higher low and hold, and then a higher high will change the daily trend. And that will be a significant momentum shift. So be watching that low there of today as well at 31,500. That's going to be key on Coinbase. So taking a look at SPY, record weekly close, record daily close. And in my opinion, I think we could be going to 430 next week. Based on this weekly candle close, looks like we want more. And I could see a target of 450 to 500 here into the end of the year. The market has officially gone silly, and it's definitely not going to end well, in my opinion. You can see we haven't really consolidated on the monthly since 9 months, so it's almost been a full year since we've consolidated on the monthly time frame. So if you're wondering when the market's going to really pull back, I'll just keep it simple. It's Friday, so we'll keep this a little simple, but just watch the low of the previous monthly candle. So right now it's 404. If we lose 404, likely going to see some significant pullback, in my opinion, as the last time we consolidated on the monthly, it was a monthly bull flag and we barely pulled back at all from the low of the previous candle. We only pulled back about 2%. So that's really nothing. And a bear market's considered 10 or 20% of a pullback. So from just to go back down and test this megaphone pattern as support again, a drop from here is about 10%. So I know everybody's starting to get a little complacent. So just want to remind everybody that it is summertime, but just make sure that you have a stop loss or something like that set. Maybe you're hedging, just try to account. Again, this isn't financial advice, do your own research, and this is for entertainment purposes only, but just try to, set yourself up. If you're not going to be around the computer, or you're going to be on vacation and not checking things, then maybe you want to reevaluate things a little bit. Look at the monthly RSI there at 75. So it's just a matter of time, in my opinion. And we're starting to see this bearish RSI divergence, the same thing that happened back in the dot-com bubble. Look when we peaked in 96, and then it took about 4 years of upside. And then we finally hit a point where, we broke that trend, and we broke the lower low into a new lower low. And this time, that's when that price divergence and RSI basically followed through. And that indicator generally means that you're going to see downside, and especially on the monthly chart, it's going to be prolonged and usually a lot. So from that high, right, we lost about 50% of the value of the S&P 500. So what do you think is going to happen the next time? And if you look here, we peaked in 2018. So 4 years from there would be 2022. We're getting close to 2022. Again, history doesn't always repeat itself, but we can look at it for clues, and that's what I'm going to be watching. Most important support right now is 404 with 5 days left in the month. If we close the month above 404 and we don't lose it, we don't start monthly consolidation, then we'll be looking at the low of this month. So currently that is 414.70. And then into July, we'd be watching for 414.70. If we lose 414.70 next month, hypothetically, let's say, I'm going to take a fairly decent, I'm going to add to my S&P 500 short. And that's going to hedge my long positions, which are majority MJ, but pretty much spread out across the board into some growth names and tech names and things like that I don't believe are heavily overvalued. So the dollar pulling back, not surprising. And taking a look at the daily time frame here. So we did consolidate today, but we held support at 91.51. We hit a low of 91.52. So we're doing okay here. Still a potential daily bull flag. And if we zoom out to the 2-day chart here, it's a 2-day bull flag more than anything. So going to be keeping close tabs on the dollar as well. If we lose that support, then we could likely see SPY run to 430 next week. Tech sector today was a bit weak, so we started daily consolidation. We lost 349.17, hit 348.84, the low of the day, but it's a potential for a daily bull flag. So we'll be watching for continuation and the low of the day today to hold into Monday. SMH a bit stronger here, so has been notably weaker compared to the tech sector, so a bit notable that had a bit stronger of a day today. Oil continues its massive strength today. Didn't break that. It broke the high of yesterday, but didn't break this nearby resistance at 74.22. So that is the resistance, and then 75 psychological, and then 76.88 on deck. The metals, so bouncing, breaking yesterday's high, but we're still in bearish territory. We've got a 2-day inside bar here at the moment, and it could be a bear flag. So we're going to keep an eye on the lows here, going to be extremely important on gold. We wouldn't want to see it lose 1761. Biotech sector up over 1%, closing near the high. Got over its 137.72 resistance, 140.88 next. Increasing bull volume, looking good. And support down at 130.46. So XLE, energy sector breaking out, not surprising with gold strength, but does have resistance here at 55.55. Financial sector had a great day today. So if you've been tuning into this channel for a while now, been saying that this was due for a huge bounce. We had a gap here at 35.99 that filled. And I said we had a lack of resistance really up until 38. So it was about a 10% bounce on an ETF in the financial sector. So said I was going to be interested when we broke that daily inside bar bullish. And if you would have entered just on that signal alone from the break of that bar, we would have made about 3.5% just on the ETF in the financial sector, which is a pretty big deal when you're talking about an ETF. XLV, healthcare ETF. So we did break the high of yesterday, but pulled back within yesterday's range. So basically, daily inside bar set up again for Monday, more than likely. But we are breaking out to new all-time highs, just not seeing much follow through, but also not seeing much bear response either. So moving on to the Bombardier chart. So the weekly candle close was a good one. And just taking a look at the Fibonacci levels here. So 150 psychological is next, and we had 125. We had a lack of resistance really until, well, on the monthly, we have a lack of resistance now until 215. So there's a lot of room to run here, and we're nowhere near overbought on the monthly time frame. But if we look at the Fibonacci, it's right there at 150. So 150 is going to be key resistance, in my opinion, into next week. I do think that we could see 150 at some point next week, but I do anticipate that it's going to be fairly strong resistance. Maybe we get above it a little bit, and if it's a bit of a, gets a bit of follow through and then pulls back. We do have the top of the Bollinger Band there at around 177. So we're going to be watching that there as well, but watch that 150 level. And like I said, on the weekly time frame, strong close. Weekly uptrend's been holding EMA 12, so that is going to be notable if we lose that as well. But weekly uptrend intact, very strong looking chart. And like I said, a lack of resistance here all the way up until $1.82. Even on the daily time frame, we don't have any resistance until $1.82. So increasing bull volume. We are getting a little extended here though. So again, not really looking toppy, no major red flags yet. We're going to be watching for the low of the day today to hold on Monday because we haven't had a daily high or low here since the 16th. So we've gone 7 days in a row without any daily consolidation. So just keep in mind that daily RSI is getting a little extended and we haven't consolidated in a while. So not that we're looking toppy yet. We didn't see a blow off top or anything like that or any kind of notable volume climax, but keep an eye on that into next week and keep an eye on the low of the day today at 122. If we lose 122, then we'll be looking for a higher low compared to 107. Actually, I guess you could say that even then we didn't really pull back enough. You could say 103, but even that, there's really no daily support, no clear daily support until 86 cents when we had that double bottom. And I know a lot of people in our group took a trade on this one, and we had that weekly, we had resistance there at 105, and $1 psychological was the high of the March lows from 2020. So I know a lot of people in our group set stop buys at 106, 107, I think it was. That members agreed on, and then they basically from there, just from that stop buy entry, made about 21%. But if you entered here on this weekly consolidation, right, we were in a weekly uptrend, so we were consolidating on the weekly. We hit a low of 85, and then a couple of weeks later, we double bottomed there at 86. So if you entered there just off of that double bottom with a stop below 86 or 85 rather, you wouldn't have never got stopped out. You would have bottom fished that perfectly and would have been nearly 50% of upside in a little over a month. So congrats to the bulls. Do want to point out another thing to be aware of, that we haven't consolidated on the monthly since 26 cents. So when we do start to consolidate, meaning when we lose the low of the previous monthly candle, just like SPY, we're likely going to see a significant pullback. And then we'll just be looking, we still haven't confirmed a monthly uptrend at this point either. So we could pull back from this current level, hypothetically, we could pull back about 80% and just be looking for a monthly higher low. So we're in a daily and a weekly uptrend, but monthly still hasn't confirmed an uptrend yet. So watch the low of the previous monthly candles and watch for a close above EMA 26 this month. That will be extremely bullish with 5 days left to go. EMA 26 at 116. So if we close over 116 this month, it's going to look real good. We could see an EMA 12 and 26 bull cross and a run all the way up to 215. We also had some indicators here on the weekly chart that were flashing by. You can see we were holding the 10-week moving average as well. So on that 86 double bottom, 85, 86 double bottom, perfect test off that 10-week moving average as well. So another level of support and just confluence there in that area of 85 cents. We also had the stochastic and MACD cross bullish as well. So this is an extremely bullish looking chart, and shout out to QC in our group for letting us know about the potential here, because this has been by far one of the strongest charts I've looked at in a really long time. We were rejecting there at the 100 weekly moving average there at 105, basically to the penny. And once we closed the weekly candle above that here on the last week of May, that was the go signal as well. So again, if you entered that stop buy on that weekly candle, then you would have seen another 20% of upside. So closing above all those moving averages this week at the high of the week is extremely bullish. We're above all of the daily moving averages as well. And look at that, the 50-day moving average was there, another level of support when we had that double bottom. So there was just all the support and reason in the world to go long back at 85 cents. And only regret is not buying a lot more, but hey, what can you do? A lot of people were saying, should have bought more, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but no one has a crystal ball, and just be happy that you were there for the gains. And congrats to the bulls once again. It's looking extremely bullish. Like I said, probably going to be watching 150. And then if we do pull back next week, we'll be looking for a higher low, and I could see us pull back to maybe the $1.10, $1 area, back test this previous resistance, confirm new support. So we'll be watching that into next week. But like I said, getting extended here on the RSI, but increasing bull volume. It's looking extremely strong. On the bull and bear list, we had CLOV, AMC, and BB. So BlackBerry mentioned yesterday that we could likely see more downside. And sure enough, we saw more downside today. After that weekly consolidation, weekly inside bar broke bearish, and we could be targeting that EMA 12 there at 1114. I did say we had a gap to fill as well at 1209, and I said watch that level. And today we hit 1176 and then closed at 1212 above that resistance, or that support, sorry. And here we are at 1209. So we're right on that support. And if we do lose $12 in the low of the day today, 1176, then we could be in for a daily EMA 12 and 26 bear cross and see more downside, likely heading back down to around the $10 area. I know a lot of people are interested in entries, so watch the $10 area. And on the bull list, we had SPCE, NEXE, and BABA. So SPCE, like I said, huge volume, massive news about the license being awarded, first of its kind, all-time high resistance there at 62.80. which we could be testing here next week. Man, that is impressive. Not weekly overbought yet either. And on the monthly time frame, monthly volumes getting massive. Not quite monthly overbought yet as well. So we'll be watching. We're starting to see some bearish RSI divergence here a little bit too on the monthly on SPCE. All right, thanks for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth for a daily market recap, and we shall see you a little bit later on for an MJ sector review. Take care, have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you on the next video.